Chapter 17. The Judgment of the Old World. Genesis 7, 1-24. And the Lord said unto Noah, Come thou and all thy house into the ark, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation. Of every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by sevens, the male and his female, and of the beasts that are not clean by two, the male and his female. Of fowls also of the air by sevens, the male and the female, to keep seed alive upon the face of all the earth. For yet 7 days, and I will cause it to rain upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and every living substance that I have made will I destroy from off the face of the earth. And Noah did according unto all that the Lord commanded him. And Noah was 600 years old when the flood of waters was upon the earth. And Noah went in, and his sons, and his wife, and his sons' wives with him into the ark, because of the waters of the flood. Of clean beasts, and of beasts that are not clean, and of fowls, and of everything that creepeth upon the earth. There went in 2 and 2 unto Noah into the ark, the male and the female, as God had commanded Noah. And it came to pass after 7 days that the waters of the flood were upon the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened. And the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. In the selfsame day entered Noah and Shem and Ham and Japheth, the sons of Noah and Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons with them into the ark. They and every beast after his kind, and all the cattle after their kind, and every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth after his kind, and every fowl after his kind, every bird of every sort. And they went in unto Noah into the ark, 2 and 2 of all flesh, wherein is the breath of life. And they that went in, male and female of all flesh, as God had commanded him, and the Lord shut him in. When the flood was 40 days upon the earth, and the waters increased and bare up the ark, and it was lifted up above the earth. And the waters prevailed, and were increased greatly upon the earth, and the ark went upon the face of the waters. And the waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth, and all the high hills that were under the whole heaven were covered. 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered. And all flesh died that moved upon the earth, both of fowl, and of cattle, and of beast, and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, and every man. All in whose nostrils was the breath of life, of all that was in the dry land, died. And every living substance was destroyed which was upon the face of the ground, both man, and cattle, and the creeping things, and the fowl of the heavens, and they were destroyed from the earth, and Noah only remained alive, and they that were with him in the ark. And the waters prevailed upon the earth 150 days. Genesis 7, 1-24. Noah was ordered to take on board the ark 2 of every unclean animal and 7 of the clean, verse 2 following. This was to include birds as well. More than a few writers object that the distinction between clean and unclean animals was not made until Moses' day. This is to assume that no verbal revelation has been given prior to the written, which is nonsense. How the animals came we do not know. Perhaps Noah had used the 120 years before the flood to collect them. Perhaps God moved the animals to come. We do not know, but they were collected. In verse 11, the flood's beginning is dated in terms of Noah's life, the 600th year, month 2, day 17 of the calendar then in use. Most ancient calendars begin in the late fall. Josephus tells us, Antiquities 1:3-3, that it was in that time we would call the very end of October and of the beginning of November. We are also told in verse 11 that the flood began when all the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and then the rains began. This points, as Henry M. Morris has pointed out, to volcanic activity that led to explosions and eruptions that poured forth great tidal waves of water, both hot and cold, over all the earth. Expanding and cooling gases with endless ash and dust in the air led to torrential downpours of rain all over the earth. The words in verse 11, quote, broken up, end quote, are in the Hebrew, quote, cleaving open, end quote. Such volcanic activity and the gases from it would have killed all who were in the area of occurrence. The high waters which covered the earth, very hot in some areas, radically cold in others, killed the rest. The source of the floodwaters was thus both subterranean and atmospheric. The New Testament, instead of using the Greek word for flood, uses kataklysmos, cataclysm, to describe this event. Matthew 24:39, Luke 17:27, 2 Peter 2:5, 3:6. Thus, while it was a flood, it was much more. The rains came for 40 days and 40 nights, verses 12 and 17, but we are told that during that time the waters increased, verse 17, which suggests that volcanic activity and earthquakes pushed the waters higher. All the mountains were covered, although it is possible that, as the waters were subsiding, some areas were pushed higher by the volcanic activity and the earthquakes. But for a time, all things were covered by water. Later, the ark rested on a mountain of Ararat, specifically on Massis, now commonly known by the name of the range, Ararat. Massis is 17,000 feet high and is still subject to very frequent tremors. The waters prevailed for 150 days, during which time they continued to rise. Obviously, this was no local flood, as some skeptics insist. Its pervasive nature is also attested to in the stories of peoples all over the world. After the flood, it was more than a year before Noah and his family could leave the ark. Prior to the flood, Noah had time to collect and store food for himself and the animals. In their inactive state, their needs for food was limited. Noah and his family were kept active, cleaning stalls and cages and feeding the animals. Leopold tells us that in 1609 to 1621, a Dutchman, Peter Janssen, built as an experiment a ship corresponding to the biblical dimensions. He found it to be seaworthy and also possessing a high storage capacity. When we are told in verse 24 that the waters, quote, prevailed on the earth 150 days, end quote, the Hebrew loses its force because our word, quote, prevail, end quote, has weakened. It is literally, quote, were strong, end quote. Only after 150 days did the destructive cataclysm subside. In verses 21 to 23, great stress is laid on the totality of the destruction, and the passage concludes with the words, quote, and Noah only remained alive, and they that were with him in the ark. Verse 23. In verse 1, we are told that Noah was a righteous man. We are then told that the rest of the world was evil. God gives us a moral reason for saving Noah and for destroying all others. He invites Noah now to enter the ark. Quote, come thou all and all thy house. Verse 1. We are also told, quote, and Noah did according unto all that the Lord commanded him. Verse 5. It is bad theology to hold that professions of faith can replace moral obedience. As our Lord's brother James tells us, quote, thou believest that there is one God, thou doest well. The devils also believe and tremble. James 2:19. Thomas Whitelaw has given us a chronology of the flood, reckoning from the first day of the year. 1. Beginning of the flood. 1 month, 17 days, 47 days. Continuance of rain, plus 40 days. Prevalence of waters, plus 140 days. 2. The ark touches Ararat. 6 months, 17 days equals 197 days. 3. The mountain seen. 9 months equals 270 days. Raven seen after 40 days. 310 days. Dove sent after 7 days. 317 days. Dove sent after 7 days, 324 days. Dove sent after 7 days, 331 days. 4. The waters dried up, 12 months, 360 days. 5. The earth dry, 13 months, 27 days, 417 days. J.P. Lange rightly said of the flood, quote, "The right belief in the judgment is, at the same time, a belief in the deliverance of God." End quote. Every judgment by God is also an occasion for deliverance and salvation. The flood, the events in Egypt and the plagues, the captivity in Babylon and more, all these events were judgments, times of cleansing, and then deliverance. In the cross, we have the supreme coincidence of judgment and salvation. Our sins are judged and we are delivered. To lose interest in Noah is to lose interest in both judgment and salvation. The flood requires us to recognize that judgment precedes salvation. To ask for God's deliverance from our present evil order is to ask for His judgment.